So here we are, Northern Soul lovers. We're just at the famous site of the Torch nightclub, the old nightclub. You can see 1964 to 1972 on Hoe Street in Tunstall in Stoke-on-Trent. Just thought I'd show you where it is. We'll just have a little walk up the road to show you the residential district it's in. I think apparently this was where the club was between this house and the end here. Hopefully we'll meet someone later on at King's Hall who can tell us a little bit more about it. As you can see, it's a kind of industrial area now. You've got the Snide pub just round the corner there, where a few of the acts used to stay. I mean, Edwin Starr played here, you know, as we all know, a pioneering sort of nightclub at the time. You can see kind of the view of the young Northern Soulers in the early 70s that would have been crowding around here in the residential area. Unfortunately, the Golden Torch, affectionately known as the Torch, took the same fate as Wigan and closed by the council, and then took the same fate as catching fire and burning down. But a short trip out from Stoke Centre. Strange now to think those days are gone, but yeah, the Torch nightclub. Later on today, King's Hall, Stoke. So apparently the site was formerly a cinema and then a mod club, and then entrepreneurially turned into a Northern Soul venue. Bizarrely, Peter Stringfellow was a DJ at one time, but not one of the prominent Northern Soul DJs, obviously. Lots of famous names played here. Capacity was allegedly 500, but I can imagine a lot more kind of enthusiastically squeezing into the club. The plaque's really nice. It's quite nice to come down there. There's not too much around, but it's really nice it's commemorated. Apparently one of the ex-barmen is a real big Northern Soul fan who's unfortunately passed away now. Was a kind of driving force in getting the plaque up, which I think is a really nice touch to Stoke. So here we are at the King's Hall in Stoke, famous venue for the all-nighter tonight. I'm here with the famous Kev Roberts, who's lived a life of Northern Soul, really. Kev, where should we start? Wigan, record collector, promoter, radio DJ, film advisor. Where do you want to start, my friend?
It sounds impressive, doesn't it? I think it all started actually in this city, Stoke-on-Trent. 1972, I used to go to the Golden Torch in Tunstall. And get off at Longport Station. I used to get the Derby to Crewe train, and in those days I could run up the hill at 1.5 miles and get into the Torch and listen to all the hot records and sing them all week, and then come back on Saturday and do it all again. Little did I know that less than 12 months later I'd actually be a DJ, which was really odd because I never actually did many auditions. In those days you needed a bit of an audition. You got to have something, you know, a CV of some kind. But I was a guy that had no girlfriend, so I used to take my records everywhere. Not for any reason than somebody might say, may I have a look in that box? So that was my +1.
You know, fantastic. Yeah. So how did it all come about at the they said about the Northern Soul film? Did they just contact you and
yeah, I mean, over the years, because I've been in business with it over the years, people they get to know you. They once they suss out that you know what you're talking about, that they come back. So yeah.
So was that just sort of musical advice really on records and stuff, or did they want to know about the fashion and the scene?
Advice about all of it, really.
Yeah.
The problem is that when the films are being made, and to a certain degree TV, if I've got one criticism of those, and I'm so glad, by the way, that this brilliant music has been well documented, they tend to speak to too many people. Now, I'm not saying for 1 minute just speak to me only, but certainly speak to people 3 or 4 people, maybe 5 people, but there's too many headshots. There's too many people getting 20 seconds.
Oh, okay.
So I kind of these days avoid them.
Yeah.
Apart from if I think it's fun.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, do it for yourself now. It's have a bit of fun.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Exactly. So we're saying it's your last one at Stoke tonight.
It is. I came to this venue in 1996. And I did a tester event, which was an 8 till 2. It was a Golden Torch revival, and I wasn't on the DJ roster because I never worked there. So I hired 4 of the original DJs, and we did a tester gig, and it went rather well. And then I planned to do an all-nighter, and we had quite a bit of heat at that time from other venues that weren't too far away. Winsford springs to mind. And not that it would have had any bearing on this venue or us on them, but they were running an all-nighter and successfully. But obviously the style of this incredible monument behind me suggested that we should do an all-nighter. So I went to my Wigan Casino colleague from the 70s, Richard Serling. We were good friends, and Richard said it's a no-brainer. And so we called it the Togetherness All-Nighter, and we did it in February 1997. Okay. That's 25 years ago. 25 years ago. So I've been here at the building 26 years, and 25 years it's been an all-nighter. And it's had some incredible highs. I would think almost from the get-go, 98 to about 018. Really strong numbers, well over 1,000 at most, and now it's tailed off.
Was that when it was going 4 times? Was it going 4 times a year?
It was on 4 times, 4 times a year at one stage.
Yeah, fantastic. Like you say, to be getting those people regularly is something, isn't it? It
is.
Yeah. Can you tell us a little bit about? Was you involved with Edwin Starr back in the day?
I was involved with Edwin Starr.
Yeah, what was that kind of like?
Edwin, I knew well. I was a fan. I also produced a record on him, by the way, at the time. I wrote a song called These Things, which Edwin Starr did, which surprisingly, there's another version of it by a white singer called Jerry Pierce, who I think made a better job of it. Now, it sounds incredible that an unknown white singer from Stafford might do a better job than, let's say, Edwin Starr, but on that song he did. But that's by the by. I loved Edwin. He was a great guy. I did some wonderful interviews with him, really in-depth stuff.
He was a real worker as well. When you remember him coming to Yarmouth years ago, and he was relentlessly touring. And I think some people didn't appreciate how good he was because he was on the scene quite a lot.
We were used to it.
We were used to it.
And now he's gone. We were very used to him. Boy, do we need him. We need him back because there are no Edwin Starrs anymore. Maybe Eddie Holman might be the closest, but Edwin Starr also, you've got to remember, had got a phenomenal catalogue. They rolled off the tongue.
He could just get up, play,
Stopper on Sight, I Have Faith in You, Headline News,
and everyone was up.
Eye to Eye Contact. There was an incredible dancing legacy. But no, Edwin Starr was.
He was something else.
He was probably the best. He was the best.
Probably the best. And what else was I was reading when I was researching you? It's about the play. There was something about a play. Did they do a 20-year play, and you advised on that as well?
In more recent times, a play originally called Once Upon a Time in Wigan was created in the Northwest. In fact, something tells me that Sally Carman, who plays, I forgot the name of her character, she's in Coronation Street now. She was in it originally, and I'm sure I've got that right. And it came and went. It had rave reviews. Didn't really sort of make it on a bigger scale. I thought all this noise that's coming out of this play, it ought to be better, and I never saw it. Until I got a call from some guys up in Ashton-under-Lyne who asked me to host an after party, but also give a bit of advice on the play as well. I did that. That was successful, and then I did it again in Stockport But it's all gone quiet again now, so COVID's hit, so they're probably rallying round. And but it is good. I must admit, I think it was a very, very good play.
Yeah, very well done. Yeah, we've done all this. We haven't even talked about Wigan yet. Yeah, I obviously it was too young for me, and I kind of hear stories about Wigan, and a lot of people say, well, it was kind of an underground scene at the time, and now we look at kind of Northern Stroll as mainstream. Well, what's your sort of take on it all?
Well, it wasn't underground. I think there wasn't a lot of hoopla surrounding the opening of Wigan Casino. I went to the Golden Torch the last night, and then we had nowhere to go because the Torch closed, and so we ended up going into places like Troggs in Bolton and various other places. But Wigan opened September the 23rd, 1973. I didn't go that night. I was at Blackpool Mecca. But the following week, September the 30th, I went, and there I am with my girlfriend, the record box, and a character from Nottingham called Denny Hendy, who's sadly no longer with us, was quite a character in knowing what he wanted from the scene. He was an old boy, he'd been around a bit, and he came up to me, he said, "Kev, I can't stand the music here, it's rubbish, they've not got the right DJs on." He said, I'm gonna do something about it. So he went up to the DJ Russwin Stanley, who basically said, "Look, what's wrong? I think we've got it right, but show me a man who's got these miraculous records." Well, that's one thing I did have. I'd been working behind the scenes, and I'd got some quite good stuff.
Yeah. So how did you go about? Where did you go to get all your sort of hunt your vinyl out and stuff?
Well, I'd been building slowly. I'd then got a contact over at Bradford Market, which was legendary for people from Yorkshire. They had an enormous amount of records there. I'd managed to get things from them, so I was edging ever closer to becoming a DJ. What I didn't expect was to get such a big gig at 16 years old.
Wow. Yeah.
And I did. I certainly wasn't ready for it, wasn't prepared for it. I wasn't prepared for Wigan, all these different people, because I'd been at a big all night at the Torch, which was pulling 800-900 people, but I'd never seen anything that held 2,500 before.
Yeah.
So I was kind of ill prepared for that, but I was enthusiastic. I was also into different music, I might add. I like pop and I like rock, and I was not fazed by other scenes. I wasn't completely in a Northern Soul corner.
Yeah.
So I was aware of Radio Luxembourg and other things, so I'd probably got a bit more adventure going on in my mind.
Yeah, a bit more open to other things.
Yeah, so that kind of spurred me on, but I certainly was way too young really to get that gig.
Yeah.
I was way too young, and I always remember the first person to ever take me, not under his wing, but just take me into a corner and just give me some good professional advice, was Martin Ellis. And Martin was one of the DJs from the Torch. Martin's no longer with us, sadly, but I needed more of that. I needed more Martin Ellis's to show me the way. But I think once I'd been elevated to this big gig and I got all these people in front of me every Saturday night, I think you then you push your chest out, and I really needed to slow down. I was running a little too quickly.
Yeah.
So I should have been a bit more tortoisey and less of a hair.
Yeah,
less of a hair.
Comes with age, doesn't it?
Yeah, it does.
Lovely hall though, isn't it? Lovely place. I've only got about 3 moves. Yeah, a little interesting fact about King's Hall. The Beatles actually played here in '63. They were doing a gig in Cheshire, a few miles up the road, and played 2 gigs in the same day. And they drove down and played here in the afternoon. So the Beatles have actually played here, amongst others.
Yeah. We travel everywhere for Northern Soul Night. We go all over the country.
Yeah.
The three of
And
us.
jazz funk as well. We love jazz funk too.
Northern Soul.
So tell us a little about Northern Soul, how you getting into it and stuff.
Oh, we love it. It's music that comes from the 60s, originally, of course, and it filtered its way into this country and turned into Northern Soul. And it's just been an amazing phenomenon for decades, and we love it.
Yeah. I've been searching for a Northern Soul Night in Liverpool for years, but I can't find one. You have to travel?
No, sadly, if you're in Liverpool and you're a club owner, you've got a big dance floor, get your act together. There's a lot of people want to come to Liverpool, want to stay in Liverpool, want to dance to Northern Soul and jazz funk. So if you're looking, come on, get it done.
Yeah, baby.
So what about yourselves then? What sort of stuff do you like? Latin, dance, jazz, or what sort of stuff?
Yeah, mainly like Latin and jazz.
Yeah, Latin jazz.
As well.
But with the Northern, it's very mixed, isn't it? It's very varied. So stop it. So it's very varied, and we just love it. Get a good sweat on, and it's just brilliant. You know what I mean?
So what do you think of tonight? What do you think of Stoke?
Brilliant.
Really good.
Good night, yeah.
We're sweating. We know we've had a good night when we're sweating.
Yeah.
Straight up, straight on the dance floor as soon as we come in.
Yeah.
No idiots. Everyone's there for a dance.
That's right. We don't wait. We don't need anybody else to get up for us. If you want your dance floor filled up, we'll start it.
Yeah.
The moment we come in, that's it. Doesn't matter how early.
That's what we were saying earlier, weren't we? That you come to Northern Soul now, there's no trouble, there's nothing. You get food people standing at the bar, you get food dancers, you get food record collectors, if you know what I mean.
Oh, yeah.
It's all a good
You got, especially you've got DJs who play what you're at. You know, you play the last little tunes early in the night, especially, and they just play them for you. It's brilliant. You know, so you get lots of DJs who just play stuff for us.
Yeah, brilliant. Well, lads, I tell you what, thanks for doing the interview.
I love you.
Glad to,
Have you got a lovely smile?
glad to get you on there, and I know you want to get back on the dance floor, so I'll let you get going, alright?
Right, thank you very much.
Cheers.
This is the end of your night. You're at 6 o'clock in the morning. Still have quite a few people left here. A fantastic night. Great tunes played. And I think we're all ready for bed. Everyone's going, getting the taxis. Thank you, Stoke. Great night.